All right, let's get into it. Today we are
I
talking
think
about League of Legends: A Toxic Addiction with Colin Chong.
yes, sir.
Crockmaster Chong here. Okay, so um, let's see. Right off the bat, what do you think makes League so toxic?
Toxic.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that league, the what main reason why league is toxic is obviously because you have a. This is a online game, you know. This is a live game, so you depend on other people to do good. If one person messes up, well, then you mess up the whole team, and that's why they get angry, which is one of the main reasons why league is a toxic game.
Hmm. That is a interesting explanation. I don't know. I
Hmm.
feel like this like over the years the game has just evolved to have like a toxic community and then like people just feel like they need to be toxic because like that's just how they play the game and then like they may
Hmm.
not be toxic in like other games but like just in League like it just flips a switch and then like they feel the need to be like toxic and all that. But yeah.
I got jungle. Oh my god. Well, let's see. Mm, I
So, oh,
has evolved to be toxic. I think it depends on your team. Like if if your team is already like popping off, like they're 10-0 and everything. Your team is 10 and then the it has 10 like 10 20 kills, the other team has nothing. You don't have anything to be toxic about.
I guess. All right, let's see. What is your most toxic moment that you have experienced while playing League?
I think my most toxic experience would be like as playing a jungle. Because jungle is as a jungler, your team relies on you to help them out, and jungle is an important role, right? So playing as jungle, I feel like that's the most time I've been like people have been toxic to me about, and like the most toxic moment I've ever been is going 0-4 in the jungle because the enemy team kept coming in, and there was nothing I could really do here, you know.
All right. Okay.
Uh,
Um, let's see. I'm gonna get into the champions. Who is your favorite
mhm.
or main champion and why?
I think my favorite champions are those that require some amount of skill to play. So something like I think Rengar. Rengar is one of the in incredibly hard champions to play, and like it does require some skill. So I think Rengar would be my favorite champion. Other champions would include like something like Aurelia. Aurelia seems pretty hard, and it's a pretty fun champion. Um, yeah, that's about.
All right. So personally, I like to play champions with dashes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the need to have mobility. So like that's why I play champions like Wukong, Zed, Yasuo, and then I'm particularly better at champions with dashes. So like Kane, um, old Akali before she got changed,
Yeah.
and just champions similar in that like realm. So like LeBlanc, I can play LeBlanc too because it has a dash.
Uh-huh.
So like I don't know, yeah. So what do you think is the most broken champ in League? Like just in your opinion.
I think the most broken champion currently would be. Uh, I might have to think this over because currently Renekton is in meta and pretty good right now. Maokai is also pretty good. Nasus, if he scales, is also pretty good. Um. Uh. I don't. For I think the most broken champions currently is tanks. Like they are. I feel like meta right now. because the tanks and the bruisers feel like impossible to kill. You can stack armor, you can stack health, you can stack damage. Like actually, you don't even need to stack damage. Like think about it this way: like if you have like a champion like Alawi, for example, Alawi only needs like maybe 1-2 damage items, or not even damage items. Like Black Cleaver and Death Dance, like compared to other items, they're like medium, right? Or like above average in damage, right? They only need those 2 items to actually deal damage. Like they can just build Warmarks, they can build Spirit Visage, and they'll probably do more damage than a regular ADC will. It's to be honest, it's within a kit. Whatever the champion's kit is what the champion will be most broken in. I feel top lane right now, the meta is like super broken right now. If you give your enemy laner like 1 kill, this game is probably over for you. And top lane is just so broken right now.
Alright, I personally think Nasus is the most broken champion in the game.
I do agree with you, because Nasus right now, once you get like 200, 300 stacks, it's kind of over. And like they can just farm under tower, and even right now, as in like Bronze 1, people in Bronze 1 have started to learn like about freezing. And the people in Bronze 1 are getting better and better, right? Like the lower elos are obviously getting better right now. And that since they learned how to freeze, Nasus is currently like pretty strong itself. I think like Nasus though can be easily countered, like by playing assassin champs who are good at like early game. You know, early game champions would be good against Nasus. So like if I played Rengar top is actually pretty well against Nasus. Renekton is also pretty good against Nasus. And yeah, so if you can manage to squeeze, like get that early game off on Nasus, he's not necessarily broken.
But then again, if you just take a look at his kit, it's basically
Yeah.
surrounding just his Q mechanic. And then at that point, it's
Yeah.
just OP if you can guard.
Yeah. Nasus is a fairly easy
Wait, can you help?
champ, you know. But the only thing that's hard about Nasus is to reach that late game, you know. Like it's really hard for Nasus mains to reach that late game, which is why like I don't really see the pro players play him a lot. And it all depends on how you play, really.
True. Okay, who do you think is the most weak champion, like in the entire game?
In the entire game, I feel like ADCs right now are pretty weak. I think also Akali needs needs an upgrade, because right now she's fairly weak. Well, unless you really know how to play her, then like she's not necessarily weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I feel like Akali currently is kind of weak.
Alright, who do you think is the most underrated champion?
Underrated?
Yeah.
I have to say Skarner.
Why do you believe that?
Because a lot of people like underestimate Skarner. Like
You mean
like
in terms of his
how do I
damage
say?
output or his like capability?
I think within his capabilities, because people don't understand, like if you were to fight him in his zones, right? Because he has his passive where his crystal zones give him attack speed and everything. So people underestimate his attack speed. And people like how to,
You're right. That's pretty true. Because
The
his little
people,
tower things do give a lot of attack speed.
yeah. So it's attack speed. So people like Hecarim or who else? Like tanks like Zac, Sejuani, or Master Yi. People think they beat him early game, but they do underestimate his crystals. Like, I mean, Skarner, if you take away his crystals, yeah, he's not that good. But honestly, I feel like Skarner, if because people don't think about taking his crystals, but if for those who do take his crystals,
Ah.
like
You know, honestly, I can't really think of a champion that's as underrated as Skarner, in my personal opinion, to the point that Skarner is at right now. But I do think your decision is pretty fair. Alright, let's see. What is the most broken item in the game?
the most broken item in the game, I would have. Well, it depends what champion you're playing on. You
No,
know,
just like overall. What do you think is the most broken item?
I I do have to think this over. And let me see. I do think what is it? Umbral Glade, the one that allows you to destroy wards one shot. It's a pretty broken item. Like whether it be on supports, on assassins, it allows you to make your warding score like pretty good. Like it destroys wards one shot. Like maybe I understand that control wards might need two shots, but like it's still pretty broken overall as an item. Like
Why?
it reveals wards. That's one reason why it's really good. Another thing is like if you have like a control word revealing other words or like the trinket, red trinket, it it you don't it doesn't see unscanned words and the passive is not used on it. So like it's a pretty broken item.
Ah.
I think another broken item would be um let's see, what is it? Corrupting potion. Corrupting potion is also a pretty broken item for early starts. People I see people do not use like corrupting potions, right? But they don't they underestimate it because look, it gives you health and it gives you mana. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's so that's why it's really good for AP laners, right? People who require mana, like Anivia, Nico. I've been using it on Nico a lot. I think it's pretty broken. And what you do is you would go for that rune that allows you to like heal more. You know, it instantly heals you, right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Wait, which one?
You know the for the runes.
Oh, is it the Ravenous Hunter?
No, not Ravenous Hunter.
What? Wait, what are you talking about?
Okay, so you know that rune that allows you to instantly heal from potions, or heal half of it from potions.
Oh, the tonic?
Yeah, the
Wait,
tonic.
no, tonic increases the amount you.
No, tonic does not increase the amount you heal. I believe it tells you. It just says it instantly heals you.
Really?
So, like,
Did they change it?
yeah. So
Oh.
I think so. So like, let's say that, like you have a pot, right? So normally a pot would give you like 125 health. So you heal half of that instantly. That's how it works.
Dang. That's.
Which I think that's pretty broken. And then I would also take biscuit along with it. Okay. And then if you take let's see, what's that? If you take dark seal along with it, so what dark seal does is
Oh yeah,
it
increases the amount you
it
heal.
increases yeah, it increases the amount you heal.
And mana regen from corrupting pot.
Yeah. So you basically have unlimited healing. And I think those two would be the most broken items.
Alright. What do you think is the worst item in the game? Like the least valuable. Like for what what it costs, like it doesn't do as much as it should. Like what item do you think fits that description?
I would have to think this over. I would have to say, I think Sandra Blade is not really good unless you're really split pushing, right?
A lot of professional players and league analysts believe that Sanguine Blade is one of the best value items in the game right now.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I
Why
honestly,
do you think they believe that?
I mean, Sandrian Blade is really good for laning, like early game. But like for now in lower elos, right? Lower elos, all we do is team fight, team fight, team fight. So in lower elos, I don't think Sandrian Blade right now is a good item. I think I don't really know how to use Spellbinder, to be honest. So like I can't really say it, but I also think Spellbinder is also a really bad item. Let's see.
Alright,
that's all I can think of.
Alright, what's your favorite League story? Or like something that has like happened to you in League? And then like, I don't know, you always remember or something like that.
Something that I always remember. I think something that I'll always remember is getting that pentakill, you know?
I mean, who doesn't like that? Pentakill! I
Yeah.
just killed the entire enemy team. 1v9.
Yeah, exactly. Some 1v5 pentas, you know? Those are some things that you will remember for a long time.
Like, other than that, what's like your favorite like League related like story? Like, oh, did you like I don't know, have the best time of your life playing the game, or I don't know.
Oh, you know what? Something that I'll remember a lot is accidentally finding friends in solo queue, you know? So like you find one of your people on your friends list that you don't really remember, and then finding your friend and destroying them, like that moment you'll always remember. What isn't better than destroying your friends in solo queue and making them lose LP? You know, that would be something you'll remember.
Damn. You're right. So when I was first starting the game back like almost 3 years ago, I came across somebody who wasn't on my friends list, but I knew them in person. And I didn't know they played League. And then I didn't know it was them. But they somehow recognized me for some reason, which was pretty funny now that I think about it. They're just in game and they're like, "Hey, aren't you James?" And I'm like, "Yes, sir." And he's like, "Oh, I'm this person from here." And I'm like, "Oh, dang, yo, that's pretty dope." And then, yeah. One of my favorite stories and things that happened to me in League.
Yeah.
Alright, what's your favorite thing to do in League?
Honestly, climb. Like, no matter how much you complain about solo queue, you can't stop playing with it, right? Like, sure, you might hate solo queue, but like, you have to say it's pretty fun.
My favorite thing to do in League is honestly just trolling around, messing around, like just fiddling with new ideas on how to play champions. I
Yeah,
particularly like to do that.
yeah, it
Although
is
I get
fun.
accused of inting a lot because of it,
Yeah.
but honestly, it doesn't really
Okay,
matter.
I have to say something. So like, people want to try new builds, right? So
Hmm.
what would you do? You wouldn't really go again to solo queue. You go to normal games because that's how one way you would learn, right? I mean, there are other ways. Like, sure, you can go onto like what is it? You can go to practice tool, right? Practice tool is
Hmm.
obviously one way to learn about items, but
You
I
don't get real world experience.
yeah, you don't get real world experience, and you don't understand how to play because you're against bots. Like, what are you gonna learn from bots?
They're gonna always respond in the same way, or something very similar to that. They're not gonna
Bots
have.
are based.
Huh?
I haven't played bots on hard yet, so I won't know. But like for I I I just but I haven't tried bots on hard yet. But how do I say this? I okay. I haven't tried bots on hard yet, but based on what I see, like I have tried bots on medium. They're fairly easy. Like these bots are basically people from Iron. And so you can't really learn from bots. You can't get that real world experience, you know. So like
Hmm.
trying to you want to learn like certain builds, like oh maybe this item might be good on this guy, you know. You you want to experience and try like different items, see if they work. Sure, maybe people will call you troll, but hey, what if that build actually works though? You know, maybe AP volley is really good. Maybe like AP Cho'Gath is really good. I mean, AP Cho'Gath is pretty good right now. You know, there's no way to find out something unless you try. So it's really good to just explore. You know.
Okay, so this is one of the big questions that I like to ask people whenever I talk about League. But how do
Uh
you think
huh.
the change from season 9 to season 10 has like changed gameplay and enjoyability in like playing the game? Does it make the game more fun, worse? Like, what are your thoughts about the changes from season 9 to 10?
Um, I've been I don't really read stuff. Like I don't read how what League really changes. But from what I see, like ADC right now is just so bad. Like ADC is unplayable. If I'm gonna be honest. Okay, and like I think ADC right now is just bad. Mm, I'm not sure about other lane. I think okay. I have two things. ADC is really bad right now, and top lane is really broken.
Alright, okay, so here, I'll go over some of the changes
Hmm.
from
Hmm.
season 9 to 10. First, they changed the map, and then the elemental maps. And then they changed the
Yeah.
drakes
Oh,
with the
okay.
new.
I have to say,
Yeah,
Drakes right now are pretty broken. It's pretty broken, you know.
yeah.
So of course you would have to focus Drakes. Okay, but like, Drake. I like the elemental changes. Like the elemental changes is a big thing in League right now, and also because like going from season 9 to season 10, Ryan, because Ryan has their 10-year anniversary, right? That 10-year anniversary like was really good. Like they opened up like outside of League, they opened up new games like Valorant, and there's some new upcoming games that are gonna happen soon. You know, Valorant naming one that is big, and the other card game, Runes of
Legends of Runeterra.
yeah, Legends of Runeterra.
Okay, let's see what else. They changed the support items. What are your thoughts
Which
about that?
which one?
All of them.
All of them?
How do you think the new changes to the support items affect the gameplay? So instead of having to buy the upgrades for the support items, they automatically
Oh,
upgrade
oh,
after.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those support items. Um, Honestly, I guess in a way it kind of makes things a bit more fair. Cause like, actually, I wouldn't say it's fair. I think right now it's kind of bad, I guess, because let's say you have a lead, right? You
Mhm.
have a lead in gold, so you would normally pay to use that support items, right? So it would you would get the support items first and everything. But now since the new support items rely on like CS and all that, like they sure there are some trinkets that like allow you to get it first by doing damage. I mean, if you get ahead with those are like really good. But like, what about those with CS? You know, the ones that grant you get it by getting CS, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, so like, what, how do you say? Oh yeah, they're not gonna get as big as a lead as they would normally get. But I honestly do like the changes that they made with the support items. I do like the changes. Like it saves you a bit more gold. It makes items a bit more cheaper. You know, I really do like it.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on Riot's champion and balance changes in terms of like champion balancing, game balancing, item balancing in general?
Honestly, I think they need to fix top lane. Top lane champions right now are pretty broken. They also need to fix ADC too. ADC is just terrible.
Yes, but they
Like
are buffing all ADCs in this patch or next patch, I think.
I think they already buffed it already. They buffed the whole ADC, but even if they buffed it all, I don't really see a difference. Like honestly, they just added basically new health, like more health and more health regen. But honestly, buffing health is not going to do anything when people like tear through them. I mean, I understand you're playing ADC. You're supposed to be torn through because otherwise you would be too broken if you get too tanky, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like even still they can't really do anything because nor like even tanks themselves like ADCs should not be able to lose to tanks on a 1v1, but yet it still happens because tanks are just so broken right now, which tanks I'm referring to top lane, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and junglers too, you know, those they are two of the most broken champions. The
All right. So, next thing, champions. How do you think Riot is like releasing champions, and like what are your opinions about them releasing the champions? Like, what do you think about the new champs that they're releasing? Essentially.
I think Ryan has a good idea with releasing champions. Like it opens up more to the game, but eventually like people will say, "Oh, there's just too much stuff going on. There's too much champions, you know. You can't learn everything from this,
Mm-hmm.
right?" But honestly, I think, you know, adding more champions makes this game more interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how would you like a game where it's just like it's so boring. There's only current currently there's like 100 something champions, right? And if you don't have those champions, like the game's not gonna be fun. And so it's a good thing to have those champions.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about Set?
Set himself is not. I don't see him as a problem right now. I think he's fairly. He's okay. You know, he's not too good, but he's not too bad either. So I think he should be fine.
Alright, when did you start playing? And can you give a relative reference to Champion released around the time you started playing?
I started playing in around like um 3 years ago, roughly. That it's around the time when Kane came out.
That's interesting. I started playing League also approximately 3 years ago. It was Zoe was the newest champion in the game when I started playing. Although, okay, here's an interesting question. Do you wish that you never found League and never got hooked onto it?
Um, League, I don't I don't think I will regret League. Like League is itself, it makes my life like more fun. Something I would live for, you know.
Mm-hmm.
League, although maybe like a toxic game and everything, one that you would usually stay away from, right?
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I don't think I'll regret League. It keeps me busy when I'm bored, you know. Like imagine just playing League. Okay, think about it this way: League as a game, like it never gets boring. They're gonna add something new to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps the game more interesting. But if unlike other games, like some games, like if you pay for it, they don't really add changes to it, you know. So like say for example, Wii games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you have like Wii games, once you buy it, they're not gonna change it anymore, and then it gets old. It's just the same thing every day. But with League, they're adding more and more changes every day, or not at least not every day, but like every once in a while, and it really does spice up the game. Like
Okay, let's see, what else do I have here? Do you think, or do you see yourself just playing League until the game completely dies out?
yeah, I can.
Do you think there will be any games that are better than League, in your
Um,
opinion, or more fun?
cause Ryan has been releasing new games every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, not every day, but like right now they're releasing new games. Valorant right now is a pretty fun game, and I could see myself playing that game rather than League, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what are your thoughts about League's and Riot's punishments for like bad behavior, I guess. I can't find the correct words for it right now for some reason. Like like
Um,
improper like
yeah, I see
attitude.
what you mean.
Like how do you agree with the way they're dealing with like people who are inting and griefing games and running it down and stuff like that?
Um,
And also like
and
Q dodge
I
timers and stuff like that.
okay. Here's one thing I do believe in. I don't think okay, like the solo queue, right? Dodging, you lose LP already, right? I think that's
Mm-hmm.
already good enough punishment. But like putting a timer on games, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, sure, like, because the thing is, dodging doesn't affect people's games really. I mean, it'll just make the queue timers more longer. So I don't think that queue, like, dodging timers is something that should be punishable. Like, once you dodge, I don't think you should get a dodge timer for that.
Ah,
You see what I'm trying to say?
kind of.
Mm,
Okay, so what do you think about like Riot's like response to oh god okay to like people who like who are like toxic in chat and then like just like banning people like do you think it's
okay.
like justified?
Yes. Riot does have a good way with banning people who use offensive language and everything, right? But I think one thing is people like it's sometimes the bans are out of context. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you could say, "Oh, good fucking play," right?
Mm-hmm.
But then Riot will ban you for that because you said the F word,
Uh-huh.
which I honestly think is really dumb. Like you're saying, "Oh, good job," you're being positive, and then those inters who don't say a thing don't get banned. You know,
Mm.
so I think that's something Riot might need to change.
Alrighty, so do you have anything you want to talk about?
Um, no, really. Um, see, I mm, I want to talk about like the broken transfer. Like, what do you think about new volley right now? Because the volley rework came out, right? I think one thing about him, like something I mentioned a few games ago, was that he right now it depends who plays him, right?
Mm-hmm.
His his CD is just terrible. Like his all his thing, it's such high CD,
Uh-huh.
right? But for those who know how to play him, like he's really broken. And I I think volley right now is just it like it doesn't seem right. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel right. But, all right, I think that's all.
I know the podcast was more interview oriented this time around, but I am working on a more seamless transition into more like casual conversation because, you know, starting a podcast kind of tough and then having to like, I don't know, think up questions and topics to talk about really does take a toll on like the conversation because it's kind of hard to get like natural flowing conversation and like on topic and stuff. So it did seem more interview based. This podcast was supposed to be episode 2, but due to unfortunate accidents, this will be podcast number 1, episode number 1 for season 1 of PanCast, which will be summer 2020. Basically, I will try to be pumping out 1 to 2 episodes per week. Just me messing around, gaming, talking with my friends, by myself, and just so on. And I do hope that you enjoyed my little league interview, even though nobody cares. And everybody already knows what league is about, so it doesn't really matter. And I don't know. I just thought it was interesting to, make one of these with my friends. So, yeah. See ya. Ciao.